I have some inflammatory takes about Stalker because it's ultimately not my type of game at all. Having never played a Stalker before, I wasn't sure how I would take to it, and it is not a game for me.
Yeah.
What?
So
How do you think, Dan?
So if anyone has not played Stalker, Stalker is a series where it's a kind of a sandboxy first person shooter. It's not an RPG, but it does have some light RPG elements. Like there's quests and there's faction, reputation, there's stats, but it's only basically your gear, not your character doesn't gain any stats itself. You don't level up or anything. So it's a little of Fallout 3 where you're like exploring an open world. It's a first person shooter. But unlike Fallout, it's very serious in tone. It's slow. It's not like a fast game. It's not designed to like run through it. Um, the world is a harsh, scary place. The place you're set in is based on the real life area of Chernobyl. They had a meltdown there a while ago, and people still don't live in the center today. There's still too much radiation. So in this fantasy version of it, like some scientists moved into the zone, and then they were doing some experiments, and they caused this like eruption, and now the area around the zone is like full of mutants and anomalies, and like they ruptured some like veil that was protecting the earth just in this zone. But outside the zone, the world's normal, so it's just this little area. So unlike Metro, where the whole world is like gone, it's just this little area called the zone. There's powerful items called artifacts in there that sell for big money. So stalkers go into the zone to try to find these artifacts that are caught in these anomalies and trying to buy mutants. So it's very dangerous to get them, but because it's so dangerous, they're worth a lot of money. So that's what people go in the zone to try to get these things out of there. So inside the zone, there's factions fighting for control. There's mutants. There's these things called anomalies, which are kind of like supernaturalist traps where like just you step on a place and fire shoots up out of nowhere, or a giant whirlwind will throw you into the air. And you walk around these detectors to try to find these artifacts and use bolts to try to trigger the often invisible anomalies to like find these things. The gameplay is very slow. You like walk around slowly, you scout out an area, you see who's there, you take out the enemies or the mutants. They got some really scary mutants. Like bloodsuckers are particularly deadly in this one. They're invisible and they jump out at you and kind of. So it's a little bit of horror, a little bit of first person shooter, a little bit of like RPG. It's not a game for everyone. It's not a game designed for mass appeal. It's a game designed for people that are fans of Stalker. Like if there are people that are huge fans of Stalker, I know Ko is one of them. And if you love Stalker, you're going to love this game because it's more of what made the old games good and interesting to people. But it's not going to be for everyone. A lot of first-person shooter people find the gameplay slow. They find the AI kind of dumb. But I think that's more bugs right now because unfortunately the game is a bit buggy. So the AI isn't working properly. The spawning isn't working properly. There's some balance issues. There's some stutter. So my best advice is if you haven't played it yet because you're willing to wait, I would wait a bit longer because they're going to patch the game and they're going to get it in a better place. But for right now, it's a bit buggy. If you like Stalker and you just can't wait to play, it's good enough now for most people. Like we're able to play. The bugs aren't super bad. It's just like occasionally annoying bugs or some balance issues.
Is it like a gameplay bug or
Like
hardware
for
bug or?
example, one of the biggest bugs is that enemies sort of spawn right on top of you. Like they're not supposed to do that. But like you'll be walking, and all of a sudden, boom! There's a bunch of bandits like 2 feet away from you that weren't there before,
That
or
sucks.
mutants, a pack of mutants, and that could be really annoying and like can make you waste ammo and stuff. But if you like the old Stalkers and you didn't mind dealing with the bugs with those games, because those games were pretty buggy on launch as well, it's fun enough to play now. But I recommend most people just to wait. Give the game another 6 months, give it a year, and then it should be in a much better place. Because people are also having performance problems where there's stuttering and crashing and some gameplay bugs, especially as you get further away from the starter area. The game becomes more buggy because they have less time to polish it.
Ah,
So if you like the old Stalkers, you want to play now, it's fine. Just go ahead and jump in. It's on Game Pass, so a lot of people can just play without having to pay extra and see how it runs for you. See if you like the bug, see how it runs currently. If you don't mind it, go ahead and play for it. I'm having fun with it. I really enjoyed the old games, so it feels really good to me to like play a modern version of that. But even I'll admit there are bugs. There are that sometimes get in the way of, like, well, there's one bug in the city where the walls are flickering like this, like the two textures are flickering on
Oh
Oh
every single
no.
wall.
gosh.
Yeah, they're fighting, and
Is that
it's
an
pretty bad.
RTX issue or is that just a bug?
It's like Z fighting where it's
Oh, okay.
caused by an integer problem, so the texture doesn't know where to stop, and it just keeps going back and forth. So
Mm.
yeah, so there's little things like that. Um, I'm having a good time with it, but it is a slow game. It's not fast paced. It's not like Call of Duty or another big shooter where you're like jumping from thing to thing and things are happening quick. It's a slow burn game. So if you like slow burn games, I think you'll enjoy it. And it's on Game Pass, so check it on there. It's free for most people to check out on Game Pass. So give it a whirl, see how it runs for you.
Yeah,
But overall, I'm having a good time with it.
as someone who bounced off it pretty hard, I would say like definitely check out Game Pass. That's the best way to handle it. I didn't have any. Granted, it was a 2-hour sponsored stream, so I didn't have any issues because I think kind of agree with what you said. Like the start of the game didn't have that many bugs because I think that was probably the most refined aspect of it. And performance wise, it is definitely a gorgeous game, and it runs very well on my like stupid top end system. Not the case for I think a lot of other systems, but for me, there is and I don't like saying this because I think it has such a strong negative connotation, but I don't mean it as such. I mean it more as a classification. This is like pure Eurojank for me. Do you agree with that, Dan? Am I off base? Like,
It is.
I just need to know.
Said,
It,
do
it is
you agree
very-
with that?
Yeah,
Am out
I
of the
just need
woods?
I just need to know if I'm wrong or because like the entire time I'm just like
It's a very
okay.
Ukrainian game made by Ukrainian developers, so it's that are very familiar with the area and the culture and the people that are there. So it's very Ukrainian. So
Okay.
yes, it's definitely very European. If that's
Okay, gotcha. Because like I played the other Stalker games. It felt very similar to that, which I was not a fan of. I also, Dan, I played on the hardest difficulty setting out.
Mhm.
Is someone new to Stalker? I don't recommend that.
not to get your feet wet. Yeah,
It is fucking hard. Like
Mm.
I walked
Okay.
out the first room and like the stealth guy walked over to me and I'm dead.
yeah. That's a bloodsucker. Yeah,
Like he just walked up and one shot
they are
me.
really hard in this game. Like they are
Mm.
much harder than they're supposed to be. I think
Yeah.
they're brutal.
Yeah, it was rough going with that. So I knocked it down, I think, to normal or whatever the middle one is. It was much
Yeah.
better. I guess you're supposed to run from that first guy though, is what my chat was saying. Whereas I
No
went
one
to like,
told me.
fight it. Yeah,
All my clips onto it.
they're like, you got to kill that guy. It's like, no, you don't. Just fucking run by him. And for me, it's like, no, I got to kill that thing. There's like an obstacle in my way. I have to kill that. And so yeah, ended up doing that. But it is.
What are you going to do? Are you going to stop playing game, baby? Just restart, try again, crybaby. Go do.
Exactly.
baby? You kill mutant now.
Exactly. No, it's the murder hobo in me. You gotta murder everyone. I did like that aspect of it too, where I forget the guy's name, but he's like, hey, come over here, we're gonna kill some dogs. And he would walk 10 steps, and then I just shot him in the back of the head. And the game's like, all right, yeah, you could do that. That's a thing. If you want to do that, go ahead. That you're gonna lose a lot of quests.
So you have lots of freedom to just kill whoever you want.
Mm.
Like that was
Everyone
fun.
go for it.
I enjoyed that aspect
Normally-
a lot.
Normally, I don't do this on the show, but I think I have a perfect thing for this.
It's
Uh-oh.
only a game. Why you have to be mad?
It's perfect.
100%. Story wise, Dan, like, do you have any idea how long this is for like an MSQ run?
I'm not sure. Like I'm about 20 hours in, and I've only been into 4 of the like 20 zones, so it
Oh,
seems like
shit.
Wow.
Okay.
a long game. Yeah.
Is there a
Damn.
So if you run from main quest to main quest, it's probably a lot faster. But I'm doing all the side quests too, so who
Mm.
knows how long it is if you just rush from one thing to the other.
okay? How much like diversity is there in the zones? Because that first zone, they like I think it's even labeled as like lesser something or other, isn't it?
Yeah, as you get deeper in the zone, you start running into people with better gear. You get to the tough mutants. Like the first area is the weaker mutants, except for the Bloodsucker. The Bloodsucker is pretty medium tier.
Yeah.
Eventually you get to chimeras, which are a pain in the ass, and then snorks, which go in swarms, and then dogs, which are crazy. As you get further away, you get tougher stuff, and you get better gear to deal with those stuff. So it's a trade-off. One thing that's nice is you can just go right to the high level zone if you can, and try to find a piece of gear. And if you can, like, that's really overpowered gear for the people that are in the starter area. So if you that kind of person that wants to do that kind of thing, where you like run to the end, get some high-end gear, then run back to the beginning zone, you can.
Is the loot randomized, or is it all set in place?
Some of it's random, some of it's static. Most containers where you open them are random. Anomalies seem to be, artifacts seem to be random too, the ones that pop in. But if there's like a suit of armor just sitting somewhere, usually it's always there.
Okay, got it. Cool. Yeah, I like I said, I settled on the fact just not the type of game for me. I think that's
fair.
Yeah, it feels rather divisive in this. Like, you'll know pretty quickly if it's the type of game for you or not, right out of the gate, which is kind of I guess a good thing, a good aspect of it.
That's one thing I like about this game is they made this game not to be a mass appeal game. They made this game to be for Stalker fans game. So it pleases those people very well. Like, people that wanted more of the old Stalker games are going to get that.
Sure.
Instead of trying to make it like trying to satisfy Call of Duty people and Stalker people, which they probably would have appealed to no one. So I kind of respect them for sticking to their guns and like making a game for a specific audience instead of trying to water it down and try to please everyone with it.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth saying, like, you got to respect the devs just in general for like putting this game out. Literal hell.
Literal hell circumstances.
Yeah,
it was
it's wild. They have a documentary about it, and it's just absolutely insane. Like, a literal war going on outside as all this shit is happening, and it's crazy. I think they announced that it was they sold 1 million already. I don't know if that was Game Pass factored into it, so it's already like a commercial success.
In addition to Game Pass. So
Game Pass. Okay. That's
sold 1 million just copies outright.
That's fucking awesome.
Good for them.
Yeah, that's great. Have they done a post-launch post, I guess, Dan, in terms of addressing everything?
They've been addressing some bugs, like the A-Life system, the automation of the NPCs in the world isn't working right. Right now, there's some broken stuff. They've acknowledged that they're going to be patching it as quickly as they can. They just don't want to create more bugs with each patch, so they're going to take their time and make sure they patch up some of these more important things quickly. But they have addressed the pop-in, the AI life not working properly, and all kinds of stuff. So they are being communicative with the fan base about what their plans are and what they're doing right now. That's great.
That's all you can hope for. So that's fantastic. I'm sure we'll talk again once Ko is back on the show, because I think he is head over heels with the game, being that Stalker is one of his favorite franchises. I kind of suspected as such as well.